guys. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm probably right on time, so give some people time to get on. If we have anybody joining us live, I don't know whether Friday at 9:30 a.m. is a solid time for very many people. Works in my schedule, so maybe I was serving myself by deciding to have class at this time. But just going to hang out for a bit and just see if anybody is able to come on live. So a couple of things that I thought I would talk about in the beginning. Apparently I'm going to do my hair too. So here's a couple of things that I'm thinking about. We got someone jumping on. For some reason it's not coming up in the bottom. Oh, there she is. Hi. Who are we? Oh, John, hey. So a couple of things I've been thinking about in this time. I'm so used to my body moving a lot. I'm so used to, running around, doing different things in my day-to-day, whether that's, work. My work is movement, whether it's, getting my kids situated, going somewhere, whether it's going to the store without masks on. My body's just so used to moving often. And I am noticing that without that regular movement, for me at least, I'm feeling, my body's feeling very different than I'm used to. So I'm going to assume that I'm probably not alone in that. So hopefully we can take some time on our mats today and just work into and oil, if you will, oil some parts of your body. And today we're going to go, I don't know if you can see the title that I've named this, but another, oh, hi, Jana. I've named this Deep Hips. And so I hope that that doesn't say, peace out, I'm going to go, I'm out of here. What we're going to do is try to access movement that should be possible in our body, but very likely might not be 100% possible. So, like I started the video by saying, my body isn't moving the way that I'm used to it moving. So, that might still look a little different than some people's, baseline movement, if you will. But I just want you to really tap in and listen to the body that you have. Again, I say it all the time. Listen to the body that you have today. It's probably not going to be the same body that you end up waking up with tomorrow, or the same movement quality or any of that. So it's just super important to give ourselves a break, but also maybe my intention for you guys would be wonder about that thought that sometimes we have in our head. I'm guilty of it, of my body doesn't move that way. So we're going to kind of knock on the door of that statement a lot today. And what I would like to offer you is maybe you can trust me a little bit. Our bodies have the ability to move this way. Like they're made to move this way. So we're going to kind of do a lot of things that babies and little kids can do very easily, but we lose that as we get older. So I'd like you just to kind of question and have curiosity about the body that you are moving with today, and wonder if maybe if we work on some things on a consistent, regular basis, if it might feel a little different. Now it's not going to look exactly like a 3-year-old, or it might. But we can try to position ourselves to move the way that kids move. They move so freely. Their bodies aren't bound up yet. So anyway, that's what we're going to try for. All of that to say, be kind to yourself. Be kind to the way that you move. I'd rather you go slow and listen to the way that your body is moving rather than just go, I'm going to do it my way. Just try to listen and see and be curious. Be curious about what your body's able to do. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start in a Shavasana, because why not? So Star Shavasana is just how your body would plop onto the ground, basically. So your legs are going to open wide. You'll lay back. Your arms might open wide here. And then I just want you to breathe. And as you're breathing, try to settle into the way that your body is showing up already. So are you starting to notice parts of your body talking to you? And again, the word notice is intentional. We're not assigning meaning to that notice. We're just becoming aware of how our body feels. If our low back is tight, if you need to roll side to side a little bit to get comfortable and to settle into your Shavasana. I don't know what your week has looked like. I know for me personally, there's been some ups and downs, definitely. Feeling just the strangeness of this world that we're continuing to live in together. And also, some surprises. Still being able to go outside. Noticing a lot of people outside, hopefully being smart, socially distancing when you're outside. We all need the sun. We need our breath. We need water. Very important things to remind yourself. So take a couple more breaths here. Give yourself one more intentional exhale. Really dropping in on that exhale. You'll bend your knees. You're going to let your feet be on the edges of your mat. And we're going to windshield wiper your legs. So as you exhale, let your knees fall to the right side. Maybe taking your gaze off to the left side. Inhale your knees through center. Exhale your knees to the left as you gaze to the right. So that's your movement. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees fall. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees fall. Your gaze maybe goes to the opposite side. So keep moving through those shapes with your breath. Feel free to stay and hold if you'd like to. We're going to warm up the spine quite a bit before we do too much strength and work with the hips. Take two more, both sides. And give yourself some time as your knees fall to the right hand side. See if you can take your right foot and place it on top of your left knee and then gaze to the left. So if you're feeling this on the inside of your left knee in a negative way, this might not be the shape for you. You might just release the heel and let your knees fall and release your gaze to the left. We're just trying to put a little bit of extra length, little bind here to try to lengthen the hip flexor a bit more. Stay for one more breath. Finish your exhale, let your knees come back through center on your inhale, and they'll fall to the other side, letting your left heel come on top of your right knee, and then stretching long through the right side, maybe gazing off again to the right. Take one more exhale. And then let your knees come back through center on your inhale. Hug your knees toward your chest. Take some circles, circling towards the right for a couple of times and circling toward the left. All right, from here, you're going to take your knees into a 90-degree bend. Your arms will be out at a T with your palms facing down to the ground. On your exhale, let your knees fall to the left.
They're going to release onto the ground. Take your left hand on top of your right knee, but I want you to reach with your right knee so that your knees are in line with each other. Your right hip is directly over your left hip, and then we'll gaze off to the right side. So from here, we're going to go through a little bit of movement. With my right arm, I'm going to reach back toward my left knees. So reaching to the left side of your mat with your inhale, and as you exhale, come into your twist, trying to release your right shoulder back toward the ground. So inhale, reach toward the left side, lengthening through the shoulder blade. Exhale, come into your twist. Take that a couple more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. Staying in this twist here, you're going to bend your right arm at your elbow, so you have a 90-degree bend at your right arm. And then you're going to take your arm straight up over to the top of your mat, and as you exhale, let your elbow slide down toward where your hip would be, and then bring it right back up. So you're kind of creating a half like wall angel, if you will. Exhale, elbow comes back down, just getting some movement and openness to the shoulder. Inhale, reach up. Try to keep your shoulder down rather than letting it lift up toward your ear. Exhale, elbow down. Take two more. Inhale, reach, just working through all the bits and pieces that you feel here. Exhale, bring it back down. One more. Inhale, reach. And exhale, bring it back down. Send your body back onto the left side to straighten out your spine before you roll onto your back. And we're going to take it over to the other side. So knees are going to fall to the right, your stacked knees. Take your right hand on top of your left knee, but reach with your left knee so that your knees are even with each other. And then you'll exhale, come into your twist. As you inhale, reach to the right side. And then as you exhale, come back into the twist. Inhale, reach, kind of like a side-to-side cat-cow. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. You might notice that your sides are very different. Two more. Inhale, reach. Sometimes one side is a good deal tighter than the other. Last one. Inhale, reach. And this time we'll exhale, stay in your twist. Couple breaths before we take the half wall angel. Let your gaze be straight up to the ceiling. Bend your left arm about 90 degrees. As you inhale, let your hands come up over toward your head. And as you exhale, bring your elbow down, sliding it down toward where your left hip would be. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bring the elbow down. Working through the shoulder on this side. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, bring it down. Again, being conscious that your left shoulder stays down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Let's go one more. Inhale, reach. And exhale, bend. Again, rolling back onto your right side before you roll onto your back. And we'll begin to rock and roll. We're going to rock and roll our way all the way up to tabletop pose so we can come into a cat-cow. So come all the way forward, coming into your tabletop pose. Being really intentional and nice and slow with the spine this morning. So from your tabletop, as you take your inhale, let your belly release toward the ground. Tailbone is going to lift. Head and heart will gaze up. As you exhale, reverse, tuck the tailbone down, pushing the chin toward your chest as you finish your exhale. Inhale, lifting. And exhale, release. Couple more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck and push. Last one. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. In your cat pose, let's take some movements with your head. So you're going to roll your left ear toward your left shoulder. Let your head hang through the middle. Roll your right ear toward your right shoulder. Again, back and forth. Roll the head through the middle. And again, right ear, right shoulder. Left ear, left shoulder. And right ear, right shoulder. Moving into a downward facing dog. So slide your hands forward slightly, flip your toes, lift your hips up, down dog. So go ahead and pedal out your feet here, letting one foot or one knee bend as you press the opposite heel toward the ground. Letting the other leg bend as you press the opposite heel toward the ground. Lifting your tailbone, rock your hips side to side. Maybe bending your knees, opening through the shoulders, shaking out your head. If you're new to down dog, your feet are about hip width apart. Your hands are about shoulder width apart, working your middle fingers somewhat parallel with each other. Finding length to the spine, let that be the more important part rather than heels down. So if your hamstrings are talking to you a bunch, bend your knees. Feel yourself be nice and long through your spine. Stay for one more full breath. Come up onto your toes, walk your feet to meet your hands for forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale with a half lift, keep your feet about hip width apart. And as you exhale, come into your forward fold, letting your upper body just melt over your legs. You can sway side to side. You can cross your arms at your elbows. Feel long through your spine as well as your hamstrings. Take one more breath. Finish your exhale, release your hands to the ground, heel toe your feet back together. Inhale with a half lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. We'll root to rise. Inhale all the way up, gazing toward your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold will come through Ascent Salutation A. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Step back to plank pose. We're going to hold plank pose nice and strong here. Tuck your tailbone under. Reach your heels back. Activate your legs. So lift your kneecaps up as much as you can. Lengthen the back of your neck. Nice strong plank. When you're ready, you're going to exhale, lower all the way down. You can stay on toes or come to your knees. Elbows tap back as you come all the way to the ground. Release your toes. We'll inhale up into Cobra, lifting just your head and your heart. Keep squeezing your inner thighs together nice and strong. Feel your lower belly lifting as well. Stay for one more inhale. Push back to child's pose on your exhale. Knees out wide, toes to touch. Reaching back. Couple breaths there in child's pose. Finish your exhale. Inhale brings you up to tabletop. Exhale takes you to downward facing dog. Couple breaths in down dog. Finishing your exhale, look forward, walk your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lengthen, long spine. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Inhale, reach up, gaze toward your thumbs. One more time, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank pose. Strong and engaged plank pose. Again, tuck the tailbone under. Feel your rib cage knitting together. Elbows are going to tap straight back as you lower all the way down. Nice and slow. Squeeze your legs together. Inhale up into Cobra. Inner thighs really squeezing together nice and strong. As you exhale, push back into child's pose. Knees out wide, toes to touch. Take an inhale up into tabletop, exhale into downward facing dog. 3 breaths, down dog. At the end of your next exhale, walk your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Inhale, gazing up toward your thumbs. Exhale, fold. Moving on here. Inhale with a half lift, long spine. Step your right leg back and drop your knee down. We're going to come into a low lunge. Now, if you have blocks, you might like to use them. You also might want a strap. If you don't have a traditional yoga strap and you have a robe, you can go get the tie of your robe or a tie. Anything that's long like this, okay? You might want, we're going to use this potentially today, okay? So your hands are either grounded on the floor here or your hands are on your blocks, up to you. Just trying to lengthen out your hip flexor here. Take one more breath. Finish your exhale. Push your hips back toward your heel, straightening or extending your front leg. And you don't have to come to all the way straight. You might keep a soft bend to your knee. Push your hips back as you hinge forward, stretching out your front hamstring here, the back side of your front leg. Also, you might feel this in your glute, your left glute. Lifting your lower belly up as you release it over your front thigh. Stay for one more breath. Inhale, bend your front leg, again coming into your low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take it up on your tiptoes, let your knees come to the ground. We'll keep your bum high as you dive your chin to the ground. Inhale into upward facing dog, lifting your knees, feeling a nice extension through your spine. Push the ground away, make sure your shoulders aren't in your ears. Take an inhale, down dog on your exhale. You'll step forward with your right leg coming up to your right thumb. Drop your left knee down. We're on the other side here. So pushing your hips toward your front heel. You could also be on blocks here. You could also come up onto your quadricep. Up to you. What feels good? I think I want to rotate just a little bit here. See if that helps you be able to see me a little bit better. One more breath. On your exhale, shift your hips back, extending your front leg, coming to maybe a straight leg, maybe a soft bend to your knee. Push your right hip bone back as you lengthen forward over your front leg. Now your hands might be up here on your hips. You might have your hands on blocks. Okay, you're listening to this hamstring, not trying to just go low for the sake of being low, okay? One more breath. On your next inhale, bend your front leg, ground your hands, and then exhale, forward fold step to the top of your mat. Root to rise, inhale. Reach up, gaze toward your thumbs, and exhale again, forward fold. We're going to come into a bit of a twist. Inhale, half lift. Step back again with your left leg. Left hand is going to come down onto, or stay on the ground. Back knee will come down. Wiggle your right foot toward the right side of your mat. Place your right hand on your right knee. As you push your right knee away, lift your chest toward the ceiling. Shoulders are relaxed and down. Now make sure that your tailbone is still actively tucking under rather than just really pushing deep into the hip flexor here. So stay active with it. Notice your lower belly lifting. Tuck the tailbone under. Keep lifting as you take your twist. Stay for one more breath. Stay grounded through your left hand. You're going to come into a side plank. So you might be ready to just stay on your left knee. You would slide your left toes to the left side of your mat, slide your right leg down, and be in a side plank here on your left knee.
you might want to come from here and go onto your back toes and slide into side plank here. So up to you, pushing the ground away, lift the left hips up as much as you can, maybe gazing up toward the right arm. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. One more breath. Finish your exhale, come back into your plank pose, and we're going to lower all the way down. Inhale up into cobra, lifting your head and your heart. Exhale into child's pose, knees out wide, toes to touch. Inhale up into tabletop, exhale into downward facing dog. And we'll step the left leg forward this time. So coming into the other side, left knee is going to come to the, or right knee is going to come to the ground. Wiggle your left foot out to the side. Left hand is going to be on your knee. And then you're twisting, pushing the knee away. Left knee pushes away. Still actively tucking my tailbone under. Lifting the lower belly. Be careful that you're not collapsing into your right shoulder here. So you want to push the ground away all the way through the shoulder, long spine. One more breath. Finish your exhale, wiggle, gaze back to the ground, wiggle your foot. Now if you're going to slide the foot over and you're going to come on your knee, you'll be on your right knee. Extend the left leg down your mat for your side plank, or you're up on your feet. Up to you. Stay nice and lifted. Keep lifting the right side body as much as you can. Feel strong there. Squeeze your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Stay for one more exhale. And release your gaze back into your plank pose. Coming down all the way again. Lowering all the way to your stomach. Inhale up into cobra. Exhale into child's pose. Stay for a moment here. Finish your exhale and come on up. Okay, here we go. You're gonna love to love this strap. Right, you can probably see where I was going with that, but I'm not gonna say it. You're gonna love to love this strap, okay? So let's get our minds on with that. You won't need a block if you are on a hardwood floor and your mat is not super thick or very cushiony or comfortable. You might want a blanket, towel, pillow underneath your back knee, up to you. So I'm going to do this facing you guys, okay? So we're going to extend the left leg out. Similar to what we did, this is half Hanuman, okay? I'm going to take the strap and we're going to put it over the left toes, okay? So the strap hopefully is long enough that you can grab something. And you don't have to be super low, okay? So a tiny sock is probably not a good idea. So from here, I want you to work through this order. Keep your front leg bent just slightly. Push your tailbone back. So reach your tailbone back so you're hinging at your hips slightly. Then you're going to take one loop around your strap, and now you'll pull your toes toward your face. Your strap is looped around the ball of your foot. As you pull your toes toward your face, I'm assuming that you have a similar body. We're all made in the same way, just our bodies work a little different. But hopefully the whole backside of your front leg, your left leg, is really talking to you and saying all kinds of great things. That's what our goal is here. Just feeling some stretch all the way through the whole back of the leg. Keep pushing your left sits bone back. Stay for one more breath. Release it off of your foot. Keep the strap. You're going to maybe loop around again. You want your hands so they're just wider than your shoulders. Tuck your tailbone under. Bend into your front leg. Drive your shoulders down into your back pockets as you push your hips toward your front heel. Keep pushing out with your strap and then hinge over toward the left. So keep your shoulders pulling down into your back pockets, lifting your lower belly, reaching as much as you can. Feel a big stretch to your right hip flexor. Feel your chest also lifting here. breathing. One more breath. Finish your exhale. Inhale brings you back through center. Release your arms. Release your hips. Change to the other side. So left knee down, right leg out. We're going to loop the strap on the ball of your foot, not the arch, but the ball. So here's the order again. Tailbone back, shifting your hips back, hinging forward slightly. Okay, keep a soft bend to your front knee. And then pulling your toes toward your face. Make sure you're still lifting your lower belly. Soften your shoulders. Couple more breaths. Finish your exhale. Whoa, my calves are tight. Yeah, you? Good. Loop one more time around. Bend into your front leg. Tuck your tailbone under a lot. Send your hips toward your front heel. Keep your shoulders pulling into your back pockets. Notice as you do that, you're activating your rib cage down as well. Okay, from here, tailbone's tucked. You're going to hinge toward, laterally flex really towards the right side. Keep the shoulders down. They want to pull up toward your ears. Try not to let them. Let space happen at your neck. Notice your lower belly actively lifting. Keep reaching through your right arm. Try not to let it bend. Stay for one more breath. Inhale brings you up through center and release. All right, so that's one part. We're going to come up and lift up. Let's go ahead and let the strap go for now. Don't put it too far away. Don't throw it at me yet. We're going to work through a deep yogi squat, okay? So your heels are going to be in, your toes are going to be out. Now, this is kind of part of what I was talking about in the beginning of class, where sometimes our bodies just aren't shaped or just don't have the movement quality that we used to when we were little. So this is key, okay? Often when we try to bend down here, okay, knees open, toes out, heels in, and we try to bend down here like this, sinking down into the external rotation of your hips. Our heels start to lift up off the ground and our knees point forward. So instead of heels grounded being here, we end up getting here, and then we tell ourselves a story that my body just doesn't do that. You're right, not yet, but it can if we can ask it to access that space. So what I want you to do is, if you have blocks and you know that your hips don't just sink naturally into this posture, you're going to put blocks, pillows, books, something underneath you, heels out, toes in, and we're going to try to drop down and have a seat. So now if your hips don't necessarily need the support, you're just in your deep yogi squat here, okay? Now what I want you to do, stay in your squat, but I'm going to kind of talk to you about positioning. If this is my spine here, my low spine, I want you to lift up as tall as you can out of your spine while you're externally rotating your legs. So that looks like this, externally rotating the legs here. My tailbone is tucked under slightly. I'm noticing the rib cage pulling in and lengthening as much as possible. So trying to find that shape. Okay, if you're sitting on blocks or on books, that's great. Maybe spreading your knees open wide. This is working your feet. It's working the dorsiflexion of your feet. So having good ankle mobility is really important. Hip mobility, strength and length to your spine. So many things are important here, okay? So just take a couple more breaths. You could also just be here kind of working it if you don't have something to sit on. Working down as much as you can. Take one more breath. All right, so what we're gonna do before, I was gonna get the strap, but before we use the strap, we're gonna learn how to come out of the deep yogi squat really well. So I want you to lift your lower belly up as much as you can. Push and drive your heels into the ground. Squeeze and knit your rib cage together and go straight up the wall. Try not to let your butt push back. Straight up the wall, and then we're gonna lower right back down. Squeeze and your core nice and strong. Knees are coming out. Dropping down, you don't have to have blocks. You could just be in your active yogi squat. Push through your heels, lift your lower belly, go straight up. Notice how much work you're doing in your core. Okay, I'm gonna show you from the side. Nice and slow, tuck in the tailbone. Let your heels stay on the ground. So if you feel like your heels start to lift, stop yourself. Okay, that's your spot right there. Drive your heels into the ground. Keep the lower belly actively lifting, lifting, lifting. Come back up. Let's do 2 more. Nice and slow. Again, you don't have to have blocks. Coming all the way down. Feel your back really, really working here. And then you want to resist leading with the butt back. Okay, we're going straight up. Push into the heels. Feel active through the low back as much as you can. Take 1 more. Here we go. And then lift all the way up. Push, 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 push. All the way up. Good. Take a breather. So usually when I do these kinds of things in class, I get lots of grunts, lots of lots of words being said. My class isn't very quiet. It's not a quiet yoga class. So it's kind of interesting just teaching to a screen and not having those grunts be heard. But I hear you. I believe you're doing them. All right. You're going to take your legs out wide. Here's another one where you're going to be tempted potentially to say, I just can't get there. My body isn't shaped that way. Just give it time, okay? So we're going to do a Skandasana lunge. So we'll drop into the right side. You're going to bend your right knee. Your left knee is going to stay straight. My hips are going back, but I'm going to basically end up in a single leg version of that deep yogi squat, where you're going as low as you can, keeping your heel on the ground, and instead of thinking about pushing your knee forward, feel like you're lifting your knee up to the ceiling as your bum drops down, okay? So you can put your hands on the ground if you'd like. You can even put your hands behind you on blocks to help you just feel the shape. So lifting your lower belly a lot. If your hands are behind you, go ahead and shift your hands back forward. Keep trying to push your front heel into the ground. Knee is just to the side of the rib cage. And then we're going to push down into your heel to come over to the other side. Except I want you to stand all the way up and drop all the way down, okay? So dropping in, lifting your left knee, keeping your heel pushed down as much as you can. Let the left knee fall off to the side of the rib cage. Keeping your chest up as much as you can. Again, hands could be down. You could be just working your heel down into the ground. Notice as you shift back, you might fall. That's okay. Put your hands behind you. Notice that you can lift the knee, ground the heel, lift the lower belly here. This leg might need to be bent because the inner thigh is really tight, okay? So these are the modifications to make. Shift yourself back forward. Push into the heel to come back up. Now I want you to work on down, up, down, up. I'm going to give you a lot of varieties. So you might not end up getting all the way down. I want you to keep your heel grounded, keep your lower belly active as we come down. So if you start to feel your knee pointing forward and your heel lifting, let that be done. And then you're going to lift straight up, push into your heel, squeeze and go nice and slow, and then drop it back down. The temptation is to go fast. And the temptation is also to push your butt back as you are lifting up. I want you to drive your heel into the ground. So we're still just going side to side, moving on your breath, moving with your breath. You're not necessarily doing one exhale and one inhale to lift. I want you going slow, fighting through the bits and pieces of this movement. Boy, I feel a lot of creaking. This doesn't usually, like I said in the beginning, feel as spicy as it is today. So I'm with you. I'm going to show you from the side real quick. As you come down, the temptation is to push the butt and lead with the butt to start to lift. Try not to do that. So we're coming down. You're keeping your chest lifted. You're pushing down, keeping the bum under as much as you can to lift up and drop it into the other side. Take one more on each side. Go ahead and release, toes in, heels out, wide leg forward fold. Shake it side to side, shake your head out. Take some moments to breathe there. All right, so some options. We're not going to take too much time on this. Feel free to do more of them. If you're still working through those shapes and that was like a big challenge, a big ask for your body, maybe don't do the strap just yet, okay? We're going to take the strap and make a loop around it. So you have one loop around your strap. Your arms are going to be about 11 and 1 if my arms are on a clock, or 10 and 2, no wider than that though. You're going to start with the deep yogi squat. So toes in, heels out, toes out, heels in. Now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. What I don't want you to do is push your shoulders back so your rib cage extends and then your butt goes back, okay? We're going to try to let your biceps go back as much as they can, but still being able to keep your rib cage in and your tailbone tucked down. So this is a challenge for sure. You're going to maybe notice that you don't have as much availability in the movement, okay? So from here, we're going to take a yogi squat. Keep your arms back as much as you can. Feel your chin coming back, coming down as low as you can. Arms up, chest up, lower belly lifted. Go down as low as you can. Push through the heels, lift your lower belly. Try not to push your butt back as you come straight back up. So let's try that again. Down. I am sweating. I hope you are as well. Lift your lower belly. Feel your rib cage knitting in together. Feel your back really strong. We're going to try for 5 of them. That's 2. Keep breathing. As soon as you feel like your heels are starting to lift up off of the ground, I want you to be done with your lowering down. Coming down again. 2 more. And lift. 1 more. And lift. And release your arm, shake it out. For me, that's as much of a shoulder workout as it is a leg workout. So my arms tend to go to sleep when they're up for a long time. Today's no different, so that's a big push for me. Still trying to go through that movement because it's still an okay movement, just trying not to pinch too much. All right, so now we're going to try the Skandasana lunge, side to side. Again, with the strap, if you can, we're going to do 3 on each side, okay? So this one, you'll notice that your chest really wants to float forward and your arms want to release down. We're just going to try to resist that as much as you can. So by keeping your arms back and keeping your chest up and lifted, you might not get quite as low. That's okay, okay? Let's just forget about depth being super important here. So as we bend into the right leg, think about lifting the right knee up. Lift your lower belly, coming down wherever you can. Push through the heel, lift your lower belly to come all the way back up slower than you've ever wanted to do. And then drop it to the other side. Left side comes down. Feeling your heels stay grounded. And then squeeze through the core to come all the way back up. 2 more on each side. Drop it down on the right. And push. Drop it down on the left. And push. Drop it down on the right. Last one, both sides. And push. Drop it down on the left. and push. Whee! Strap your arms. I have quite a few friends in the cycling community. If any of my cycling friends have joined me and are hoping to do a really long ride today or tomorrow, I'm sorry, you might feel that a little bit. Jana, yeah? Thumbs up? All right, so let's go ahead and stretch it out just a little bit. Actually, we're going to do one more core exercise with the band, okay? So I'm going to move my blocks. All right, this might feel a little bit wonky. That's a technical term too, by the way. So you're going to take that one loop around your strap again. Your arms this time are going to be straight up over your shoulders, okay? So not wider than your shoulders, just shoulder width apart. From here, we're going to try and keep this L shape. So you're going to extend your legs straight out on your mat. Shoulders are going to stay down. We're going to rock back and trying to keep the L shape. So lifting my legs up as soon as I go back, and then rocking back and lifting straight up, trying to keep the L shape. Now I just ran into my wall, so I'm going to move my mat a little bit forward. Okay. Hopefully you have space for this. All right. So you're going to come back, keeping your L shape. Feel your lower belly lifting. Come all the way back and lift all the way up. So trying not to tuck your tailbone under at all. It's really a challenge for the shoulders and for the lower belly. So rocking back, take your time getting back there, and then rock up, lift, 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 coming all the way back. Let's do a couple more. Rock it back. And you're trying not to change the shape of your spine. So you're trying to keep a straight spine as much as you can. Take two more. Arms back, rocking back. Feel your core, hip flexors active. Lift, lift, lift. One more. Lift, lift. I missed it. Lift. Good. And release. All right, let's stretch out the hips. Holy smokes. Lay all the way back. Take your right leg over your left at your knee. Figure four. So from here, you're going to reach through the hole with your right hand, and then reach behind your left knee, interlace with your left fingers. Pull your left knee toward you. If your arms work in this shape and your legs are close enough toward you, push with your right elbow your knee away from you. Keep flexing your right foot. One more breath. Keep your legs in the same shape that they're in. Release your hands though. Your right foot is going to fall to the left side of your mat in line with your left hip. So your left knee is also up and in line with your left hip. You're going to grab with your left hand to your right foot and then push your right knee away from you as you look to your right hand. A lot of rights and lefts, a big game of twister on that one. So if I'm facing you, it looks like this. Knees dropped over, and I twist to the side. You should be feeling this along the right hip, maybe on your right back, the QL. This is a good stretch sometimes for the QL, depending on how it feels for you today. Take one more breath. Release your gaze back over to your knees and come back onto your back. So changing the shape of your knees to get onto your back. And then we'll take left knee over right, grabbing underneath the knee and pulling towards. So flexing your left toes, let your left elbow push your left knee away. Take one more breath.
Release your hands. Let your left knee fall down. Your right knee is also going to fall to the ground in line with your right hip. Grab on with your right hand to your left foot and then gaze to the left arm. Your left knee is pushing away from you as you're feeling the twist. Big stretch to your left hip, low back maybe. Take one more breath. Finish your exhale, gaze back, unwind the body as you release. And now you're just going to take both legs straight up, open them wide into a big straddle pose. You can take your hands on the insides of your thighs or the insides of your knees and just let the weight of your hands kind of open up your legs a little bit more. Soften your shoulders, soften your forehead. Exhale right into your face. Couple more breaths. And bend your knees. Take your knees together. Take a couple circles with your knees. We're going to roll over onto your stomach now. So on your stomach here, we're going to stretch out your shoulders. I like to do this stretch in 3 different parts, okay? So in my classes, I like to just show you what the parts are and then let you switch when you feel like you need it, okay? So watch for the parts real quick. This is my left arm. My left arm is going to extend straight out from my shoulder. I'm going to take my right fingertips onto the ground and see my right elbow is up and lifted. Right heel is going to come up, and I'm going to lift my leg up and over to stretch out my left shoulder. Okay, so if I'm laying on the ground, I look like this. This arm is extended, okay, and my body is twisting. I'm stretching right across here. So you're going to do that stretch, and then you're also going to, once you're done and you feel good about that shape, then you're going to release, and now I'm going to take my hand down 45 degrees, come back into the stretch and see if that lights anything up. Then I'm going to take my body out of the stretch and go arms straight up at the 45. So if your left arm is up, your hand is about at 10 o'clock. This one is usually really spicy. So as you kick your leg back over, be very kind to your shoulder here. Don't go too deep into it. We don't need to rip anything out. You also might not be able to ground your foot there, so you can just lift your hip and keep your leg extended or tap your toe. Okay, so you're going to take those 3 shapes on both sides. Try to give yourself at least 4 or 5 breaths in each spot, unless one of those spots just really isn't, you're not feeling anything. When I do it low, the 45, it doesn't really feel like much for me. Sometimes people with like bigger biceps tend to feel that one, an opening, or lower chest will feel it. All right, so I'm going to let you guys kind of go through that stretch. I'm going to hit the other side. Keep letting your breath work for you here, especially on the really spicy ones. When you run into a part that is really tough and you feel that stretch quite deeply, allow your exhale to register through your face. because we often really tight will make it tighter, okay? So be careful with that. It's giving me some kind of notification. I'm not quite sure what's happening. Oh, we're good. Okay. I'm going to assume you're almost done. When you are complete, go ahead and roll back onto your back. Take any lasting posture that you'd like. My body's asking for a hip bridge, so bending heels toward bum, open up the chest. I like to interlace my fingers underneath, lift the chest up a little bit more. If you want to pop up into full wheel, this would be a great time to do that. And releasing back. When you're ready, you're going to come into your Shavasana. And we're going to I'm going to stay with you for Shavasana today. So finding your most comfortable version of Shavasana. Trying to relax and melt into your mat. Softening your breath. Allow your exhale to mean something. Be intentional in your body. Stay aware of your breath. Give your mind a break from all the thinking. Notice your body melting into the ground a little deeper, sinking at the back of your head. Exhaling all the way through your forehead. Softening your glutes. Take 2 more breaths. If you have more time to stay in your Shavasana, please do. If you're ready to wake up your Shavasana, find some movement to fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Let your arms slide over your head for a good morning stretch, reaching long. As you inhale and exhale, let everything go into the ground. You'll hug your knees toward your chest to roll onto one side, and then we will meet in a seated position. Taking 2 breaths together to finish out class. You can keep your eyes closed if you feel comfortable with that, hands heart to heart center. We'll take a big deep inhale, getting as much air in as you can. Hold your inhale at the top. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Hands up to third eye center, last one. Inhale. Hold on to it. Open mouth, let it go. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope your body feels good and ready for the day, ready for the Friday. I will see you next Monday. Namaste. Monday at 9:30 is the next
class. That one is the traditional Hatha flow. It will be the same flow every Monday. We don't have to think. We just get to move our body. Then we have a class on Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. with Josie. Wednesdays are with Megan. We also have classes, I think it's Tuesday and Thursday with Jeff at 11 a.m. So just stay tuned and keep on coming back. We can't wait to be with you guys in person. But until then, this is fantastic. Bye guys. Have a great Friday.